Hi guys, Glitch here, back with another video, and today we'll just be going over a rather interesting topic that I've been seeing all over my For You page recently, and I just can't seem to escape from. And the topic, which has been plastered all over my For You page, is who would win in the fight between Jogo and Mahito. Jogo is the fan-made leader of the disaster curses, who is born from the fear and hatred humanity has to the earth, whereas Mahito is also a fellow disaster curse who was born from the hatred humanity has between each other. Mahito has special abilities that are soul related that I'll get into later, and Jogo has abilities that are volcano related and heat based that I'll get into later as well. But just to get their characters out of the way, Mahito is shown to be a more cynical and more like calm character under pressure, even when to the point where he finds out that Yuji can attack and hurt his soul. Mahito remains completely calm and just curious to find out more about his abilities when fighting Yuji. He doesn't seem threatened by him at all. Same with Nanami, he doesn't seem threatened by the massive building he's about to fall on him, even though he does assume that he should dodge Nanami's attack, even though he's at the end unable to due to him being weakened, or him being weaker than the version we're using. To set a standard for the versions of the characters we're using, we will be using Mahito that fought Yuji, which is like True Body. I don't know the full name, it's like a very complicated name. I'm not going to even try to say it out loud because I don't remember it offhand, but I'm just going to be using True Form Mahito. That's what I'm going to call him. I'm going to use scaling from Mahito while he's in base, because why try to scale a stronger Mahito without first setting a standard for how strong he is in base? And then we'll just be going over how that compares to Jogo. To start off with, Jogo is shown to fight Gojo in his first ever fight in the series. It doesn't really go very well for him, and he's described to have 8 or 9 fingers levels of power in terms of he's described to be 8 or 9 finger level in terms of power. Well, to give sort of a defeater to this statement, fingers get stronger over time. So Geto or Kenjaku's statement of Jogo being 8 or 9 finger level could literally just be referring to fingers thousands of years ago, which is when he actually knew who Sukuna was, when he encountered Sukuna, because we know he did based off of our current information. So yeah, he could just be basing it off of a past Sukuna's finger level. We know, as stated by Gojo, that fingers get stronger over time as they are left alone, hence why they need to capture them and find them all as soon as possible. So it would just make a lot of sense how they wouldn't scale to each other. Additionally, Kenjaku stated that he would be being generous when saying this. So hypothetically, he could literally just be overhyping Jogo to teach him a lesson about how strong Gojo is. So because basically the argument would just be that he's trying to get Jogo to be more confident in himself so he can fight Gojo, and when he gets his booty handed to him, then he'd be more willing to go along with Kenjaku's plan. I'm pretty sure that's also an interpretation to it. So yeah, those are 2 interpretations to the statement, hence why I don't think it's very reliable to scale him off of. What most people like to scale him off of is the statement by Dagon stating that he's Naobito is about as fast as Jogo in terms of speed. Not only do I believe that this is contradicted by feats, but also there's no reason to just assume that Dagon has any accurate knowledge on how strong Jogo is. From my knowledge and from our knowledge in the manga, the disaster curses are not shown to fight amongst each other or to spar or anything like that, so there's no reason to assume that they know of each other's strengths. Additionally, you could argue that Dagon looks up to Jogo because of his Fox leader position, which he later on in the series gives up to Mahito. So it's Jogo is in the position to set people as leader, which already allows us to know that he has some authority within the group. So yes, he could just be he looks up to Jogo because of his authority position. Therefore, he just assumes that okay, if this person is really fast, therefore he must be at least Jogo level in terms of speed. So yeah, that statement just really doesn't have any backing behind it. Additionally, one could argue that okay, Tuam Naobito has this feat of that Jogo is rushing towards him while Rage amped that Dalgon died, because we know that Rage increases your cast energy and gives you massive boosts that like literally are stated by Todo to be like battle deciders. So like Moses says, for example, if I get angry while fighting you, I could just get a massive random strength increase that like allows me to win the fight. I don't think there's any evidence that characters would retain their amps in a normal situation, since under SBA, which is standard battle assumptions, they just be in their regular state, and Jogo has no reason to be like enraged in his day-to-day activity. So I don't think that Jogo would still be and like have this rage amp that allows him to quote unquote be above Dalgon in terms of cursed energy. However, right, even if he quote unquote was, that's still just massively contradicted by the feats which are shown. For example, if I were to Steelman, or if we were, for the sake of the video, to agree that Dagon or Jogo, I mean, scaled to Tuam Naobito in terms of speed, Tuam Naobito is like equal to his brother Ogi, who's stated like equal to who's died they're stated equal in every aspect. I went over this in my 3 finger video, go check that out as well. And if they're equal in every aspect, that would include speed, and like the reason Ugi is like not considered the strongest sorcerer could also be because of like he's not as known, because like Naobito has like loads of strong kids and stuff, whereas Ogi doesn't. Therefore Ogi wouldn't be as recognized. That's also a probable reason as to why he isn't recognized by the clan as being so strong. So literally you could argue that okay, Maki, who is stated equal to Toji, is like above Naobito, like, and Maki can blitz Ogi. Ogi is stated equal to Naobito, therefore Maki and Toji, by virtue of them being equals, have to be above, at least above Jogo in terms of speed. So Jogo's speed scaling is really shaky, but at least, at the very least, he should be above the finger bearer that Yuji for, which like quite literally scales nowhere in comparison to Yuji, as Yuji gets massively stronger and is also just being nerfed by the fear he feels. So he should be at least above that finger bearer. People might like keyword might use the statement by Mahito that Jogo has more cursed energy than 3 finger Sukuna, and 3 finger Sukuna is stated equal to Toji. But the issue with that is that 3 finger Sukuna isn't like a normal curse. He also has Yuji's physical stats, which are shown to be massive, being able to keep up with Hanami, who is shown relative to Todo in speed. Jogo in speed. So like Yuji's massive physical stats just stacked on top of Sukuna's cursed energy. So even though his physical stats may be less, he makes up for it. Even though his cursed energy is less, he makes up for it in terms of physical stats. So enough of thrashing on Jogo. Let's get into his abilities. Jogo has the ability to like instantly sprout volcanoes wherever he like within his line of sight. For example, he does this against Gojo. He sprouts a volcano right next to him, and even though Gojo is like literally trolling, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, he also does the same thing against Naobito. He spawns volcanoes against them, which might be a good method to catch people off guard. So yeah, to move on from all of that ranting, basically, what's his name? To move on from all of that ranting, basically, it's just Mahito and Mahito's abilities. Now let's get into that after a short break, because I need to do something. Welcome back from our commercial break. I'm joking. Anyway, for Mahito scaling, Mahito and Yuji are shown to be parallel to each other in like multiple occasions throughout the whole series. For example, at the start of the series, when both of them encounter each other, they're both shown on par, with Yuji being called Mahito's mortal enemy, right? Which clearly just gives us the implication that both of them are relative, right? And therefore, that would just mean that also says That'll just put them both are relative to each other. So yeah, I don't even know why I said that. That was stupid. But yeah, Yuji even sees it himself that Mahito is him, and Yuji is also like shown again paralleling. I don't know how to say that word, or being parallel to Mahito in the sense that both of them also constantly evolve while fighting. So it should make sense for them to be at least relative to each other at different points throughout the story. So yeah, Mahito is shown being relative to Yuji. Yuji is again relative to Mahito, who is shown consistently to be relative to Jogo. That isn't Mahito's only line of scaling, because this is very early on in the series, and this just makes it even worse for Jogo later. So to go add on to like the loads of feats Mahito is like when he pleases to, he can amp his speed with like those goat legs to the level where he can perception blitz base Nanami, and base Nanami doesn't even realize what's happened, right? And then so he can literally just make himself a perception blitz level faster and blitz Jogo at any time he pleases to. And with his Idaho transfiguration, which Jogo is shown no resistance to or shown no like unaffectance by, he's just able to one-shot him. I don't know how Idaho transfiguration would work on actually. Since they have souls, Mahito should be able to affect his soul. To moving on even later on in the series in Shibuya, Mahito and Yuji are shown on constant occasions to be relative, with Yuji using his environment to get the upper hand on Mahito during their fights. However, Mahito uses his emotional warfare to get the upper hand on Yuji. However, it just should be consistent with the loads of narrative behind both of them, and both of them being shown to like grow. In fact, it's even stated by Jogo himself that he made Mahito leader because Mahito will always keep getting stronger and he will keep like reaching his full potential. So that's why he made him the leader. So yeah, he should just at Shibuya, like during the Shibuya arc already, he should just be massively above Jogo in terms of overall stats. I don't think his AP or attack potency, for people who don't know, really matters because Mahito has the ability to directly affect your soul. The durability of your physical body doesn't really matter if you can touch your soul directly. So yeah, he can literally just like warp your soul to the level where you kill yourself because your body can't handle it. Mahito also has this sub ability which is not shown to take up cost energy. Is that okay? Unless you damage his soul, then he literally is just unable to get killed, which is why when Yuji can damage his soul, he calls him his mortal enemy. And against people who can't damage his soul, for example Todo, he says your attacks are meaningless if you can't attack your customer, if you can't help my soul. He even is about to say that to Yuji till he starts bleeding. So yeah, if Jogo has no understanding of the soul, then Mahito still still takes the dub. When it comes to in terms of a domain clash, I think Mahito's domain should also be, even if it isn't more refined, it should also be like it should also have a faster curse technique activation time, because he's stated to have a curse technique activation of like around 0.02 seconds, so he could just activate his domain and one-shot Jogo before Jogo is able to activate his own domain. So in conclusion, if you don't already know, I think Mahito should win this pretty easily, pretty badly. Jogo has no way of reliably damaging Mahito, and he just like doesn't have any counters to his domain and the massive speed gap between them. So that's basically it. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. There's going to be a collab video right after I post this one and I'm done editing it. And have a nice day. This has been Glitch here, and I'm out.